MindManager is mind mapping software that also wants to be your project planner. That is the honest one-line version of it. If you have been looking at it, you have probably seen the price and paused. This is not a $10 app. So here is what this covers. What it really costs in dollars, what the one-time purchase quietly leaves out, and what people who actually pay for it say after the first year. I am leading with the money and the feedback because the product page will happily tell you everything except those two things. I do not have an account here and I have never run a project in it. What I did instead was read the pricing, the licensing terms, and every recurring complaint I could find, including the ones sitting in MindManager's own knowledge base. That is the part most reviews skip, and one of those knowledge base pages changes the entire buying decision. I will get to it. Start with what the software actually is, because the name undersells it. Most people hear mind mapping and picture a bubble with lines coming out of it. MindManager does that. But the reason businesses buy it is what happens after the bubbles. You can take that map of scattered ideas and turn it into a real plan. Task with owners, dates, dependencies. A Gantt chart built from the same nodes you brainstormed with. That is the pitch on their homepage, word for word. Turn ideas into plans and plans into action. It also does flowcharts, concept maps and matrices. So it is closer to a visual thinking suite than a single trick tool. The integrations tell you who it is really for. Microsoft Teams, SharePoint, Jira. Those are corporate names, not hobbyist names. Picture the person this was built for. Somebody who runs a planning workshop on Tuesday and has to hand a project schedule to a manager on Friday. For that person, the map is not the deliverable. The map is the raw material. That is the whole idea. If it turns out to be the right tool for you, there is a link in the description, and I should say upfront, it is an affiliate link. Now the number you came for. MindManager sells 3 plans plus a one-time purchase, and the prices move by country, so these are the United States figures at the time of recording. Essentials runs $99 a year. That is the web version, one person, and it is the stripped back tier. Professional runs $179 a year. That is the one carrying the best value badge on their own pricing page, and it is the full suite. Enterprise has no public price at all. 5 users or more and you request a quote. Then there is the one-time purchase at $369. There is also a 30-day free trial, and it is the full professional feature set, not a crippled demo. For software at this price, 30 days of the real thing is genuinely fair. So for a single person, the decision looks simple. Pay $179 every year or pay $369 once and stop paying. 2 years and 1 month to break even. Anyone with a calculator reaches the same place, except that math is wrong, and it is wrong in a way the pricing page does not explain. Here is the thing I promised you. Go into MindManager's own knowledge base, and there is an article comparing the annual plan with the one-time purchase. It is not a sales page, it is support documentation. And it lists what the one-time purchase does not include. No upgrades to new versions. You keep the version you bought permanently. No co-editing. 2 people cannot work in the same map together. No MindManager for Microsoft Teams, no web browser access either, and you pick one operating system, Windows or Mac, not both. Read that list again and the comparison falls apart. The $369 option is not the same software bought a different way. It is a smaller, single platform frozen product sitting next to a larger one. You are not comparing payment plans. You are comparing 2 different things. That is the catch. It goes one step further, and this part is on their support site rather than their store. MindManager retires old versions on a schedule. Their product lifecycle policy says it plainly. When a version is retired, live technical support for it stops. Right now, the supported list runs back to the 23 releases from 2023 on both Windows and Mac. Older than that, and you are on the knowledge base and the forums by yourself. Their own documentation is refreshingly blunt about it. A perpetual license is valid indefinitely in principle. In practice, hardware and software move on. There is a review sitting on Trustpilot from a few years back that shows exactly how that lands. Somebody bought a perpetual Mac license, upgraded their Mac OS, and found the software would not run, so they paid again. Own it forever means own this version forever. Those are not the same promise. So what do people who use it every day actually say? The best sample I found is on Capterra, which shares its reviews with software advice. 4.6 out of 5 from 71 verified reviews as of August 2026. That is a good score, higher than I expected, honestly, and it deserves saying before I get to the complaints. But the sub-scores are where it gets interesting. Functionality 4.5. Ease of use 4.4. Customer support 4.2. Value for money 4.1, the lowest of the 4. That single number is the shape of the entire feedback picture. People like this software and question what it costs. Every complaint underneath it rhymes with that. The most common one is upgrade cost. Reviewers describe paying for the product, then being nagged to pay again for the next version. Second is the Mac gap. Mac users report features that Windows users get and they do not, with Excel syncing and Dropbox integration named directly. Third is collaboration. Publishing a map is easy. Letting your team edit it means more licenses and more money, and that frustration shows up repeatedly. Then two softer ones. The learning curve is real despite the intuitive marketing, and a lot of people describe the interface as dated. I should be straight with you about one source. MindManager's Trustpilot page sits at 2.8 out of 5, and that number is worthless. It is built on 4 reviews. 4. The profile is unclaimed and the company has never asked anyone to review it there. Ignore it and be suspicious of any review that quotes it at you as a headline. Their own homepage claims 4.5 stars from 565 reviews across the rating sites. That is the vendor's own figure, so weigh it accordingly, but the direction matches the Capterra number. The loyalty is real too. Some reviewers describe using this thing for 20 years. Software people stay with for 2 decades is doing something right. So who should actually buy it? Buy it if you are on Windows, in a business, and your maps need to become schedules. If Teams, SharePoint, and Jira are already in your working day, this fits the gap between the whiteboard and the project plan better than most tools. It also helps enormously if your employer is paying. At $179 a year, that changes the question completely. Skip it if you are on a Mac and expecting everything Windows users get. The reviews are consistent on that, and it is the complaint I would take most seriously. Skip it if live team editing is the main reason you are shopping. That is where the extra cost and the loudest frustration both sit. Skip it if you want a casual mind mapper for personal notes. There are free and cheap tools for that, and you would be paying business money for a hobby. And think hard before you take the one-time purchase, unless a frozen, single-platform, solo version is genuinely what you want. So, the short version. MindManager is a strong Windows business planning tool with a loyal base, priced at the top of its market, and its cheap-looking one-time option is a different and smaller product than the subscription. If that fits how you work, the affiliate link is in the description. One thing I am curious about. If you have paid for a perpetual license for any software and later found it stranded, tell me what it was in the comments. I suspect that list is longer than anyone admits.